Hi, I'm Lynette Xanders. I want to take you back to my very first global project, where I learned lessons about leadership, collaboration, and resilience. If you're leading global teams, these insights can help you avoid common pitfalls and create better results with less stress. So my first global project was for Nike. And we had to, I'll just frame it for you. They had 2,500 SKUs of bags, Nike bags. And they just had a hard time managing it globally. But they wanted to find what was the golden thread that people across the world wanted in a bag so that they could cull their offerings. So I went to Mexico City and Manchester and New York and London and Shanghai to talk to people about what kind of bags do you own and what do you look for and what are requirements and what are the best bags, which was fascinating and super fun. And I learned so many things. I think one of the hardest things that I had to figure out was how to get my camera equipment through TSA in China. I didn't trust their equipment. I didn't know for sure that they'd have equipment. So I brought my own camera. And in all honesty, I think in Shanghai, the viewing room at the facility was literally a broom closet, had brooms, and a little thing of bananas. And you had to make space for the translator. And in several of those countries, maybe even Manchester would have been helpful. But it was logistics. Like the job honestly is logistics. Knowing how to get from here to there. I didn't know I needed a bodyguard in Shanghai, but I did. But she went to the market with me and she was like, they are going to see you coming from a mile away. So I'm doing all the negotiating. I was like, okay, fine. So that was actually phenomenal. But making sure that the translator showed up, making sure that the translator understood the nuances of what we were looking for, because it's not always a direct translation. They kind of need to put it through the lens of what you're looking for. And to have her there or him there long enough at the beginning so that I could brief the moderator, because we obviously didn't speak the same language. Making sure that the recording got transcribed. At the time, it was much harder to do. Keeping the client informed was new and different. And then ultimately kind of sitting down and putting these pieces together. What I actually did that was helpful was I asked focus group participants in all 5 of these cities to draw pictures of their perfect bag in the perfect moment and what they had in common. And that made it much easier for me to see threads and themes and to report back to my clients. It just made for a better presentation and an easier presentation. So people carry a lot of the same things in their bags. They want a zipper to keep their stuff protected. It has to go with a variety of clothing. So learned all kinds of things, but I think understanding different cultures and having the logistics down was huge. I do have a really funny story though. I was in, I wasn't allowed to leave the hotel without my bodyguard in Shanghai. And I mean, it looked like Blade Runner. And so I called down to the front desk and I said, where's the gym? And they said, wait 1 minute. And I was like, okay. So they were going to call me back. And about 5 minutes later, I got a knock on the door and there were 5 men carrying a Stairmaster into my room and brought me a Stairmaster and a plate of cookies. So it's what I just kind of mean by understand the culture that you're working with. Jet lag is real, so find a way around that. There are lots of strategies to overcome jet lag. But I think even working with clients in London, different example, but I worked with Doc Martens, whose headquarters are in London, but their biggest market is in the US. And even though, they both are English-speaking countries, cultural differences are huge. Fashion differences are huge. The language that you use to describe something, especially if you're working with, fashion or retail, contemporary means one thing in the US and means something slightly different in the UK. So I would just say look for nuances across cultures as much as, habits. I think, my UK compatriots would leave the office about 4 o'clock every day and go have a pint and come back and finish work from kind of like 6 to 8. So if I tried to get a hold of somebody at 5 o'clock, there was just no way. So understand the nuances of those, I think, was huge. Everything, now has some global aspect, I find. So even when I did a survey for Keen, they are global, obviously. Being able to get that survey translated into all the languages that it needed to be and then retranslated back into English. I know we use a lot of AI now. I had a translator review all of it just to make sure that it was accurate. Because again, those nuances make all the difference, especially in the strategy world. So for more strategies on leading high-stakes projects with confidence, finding out how to work with me, even if we just have a sounding board. I'm happy to help you kind of avoid some of the landmines that can send things sideways. So you can find all of that at wildalchemy.com.